LaToya looks at video of her brother, she not only sees him, but she sees the people surrounding him, who she says did him harm. She has made accusations about a shadowy entourage that she believes contributed to his death.
I knew Michael was surrounded by people that positioned themselves in his life, positioned themselves to control and take advantage of him. And that's what bothered me more than anything else, because I knew something terrible would happen at the end, not to mention the fact that Michael constantly told me, LaToya, if I die, they're going to murder me, they're going to kill me. He would tell me that, Barbara. When I found out he had actually passed, I said, no, it wasn't an accident. He was murdered.
Your brother was murdered.
I always believed that from day one, when I found out that he was no longer with us. I said, I'm not going to accept anything else, Barbara. They could have told me a heart attack. They could have told me he had fallen off a ladder, and I would have said, no, it's not a heart attack. He was murdered. Did he fall off the ladder? No, he was murdered.
Who murdered your brother?
I don't know exactly who. I think there are more players involved than we know. This is just my opinion. This is what I feel. I know what Michael was afraid of. I know that when
what?
He was
What was he afraid of?
He was afraid of his life. He would say, I'm afraid of my life. I'm afraid they're going to assassinate me. I'm afraid they're going to kill me. He would always say that, Barbara.
LaToya said that Michael was murdered by people who would benefit financially from his death, but she never made it clear who she believes was involved or how they would profit. Will you name names?
I think within time it just might come out and people will know.
LaToya, wouldn't the family also, as heartbroken as they are, also profit from Michael's death? You know, things that come in the future, movies, recordings, memorabilia.
I think the family's concern at the moment really is getting his estate to make sure everything is being paid for, the debts are taken care of, and things of that nature. And then after that, making sure the kids are set, his children are set. But I understand your point, but I think that's what's most important.
We now know that Michael Jackson died of a fatal combination of drugs, including the powerful anesthetic propofol, which was administered by this man. Did Dr. Conrad Murray murder your brother?
Barbara, something went wrong.
It has been reported that Michael's eldest son, Prince, was summoned by Dr. Murray to help resuscitate Michael, Prince's own father. That must have been a terrible experience for him. Is it true?
Yes, he did call Prince. He watched him do this, Barbara, and you don't do that to a child. You don't do that to a child, especially when you knew, prior to asking that child to come up, that Michael was no longer alive.
You feel that Michael was dead long before he went to the hospital?
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Murray has denied any wrongdoing in connection with Jackson's death. LaToya, you signed the death certificate.
Yes, I did. The doctor wouldn't sign it.
Dr. Conrad Murray would not sign the death certificate?
No.
Did you find that strange?
Everyone did.
Late on the night of Michael's death, LaToya went to his home, where she found an intravenous drip stand beside the bed Jackson had been in, and oxygen canisters lining the walls. She has been accused of taking cash, jewelry, and other personal possessions, a charge she denies. She says her brother usually kept millions in cash and jewelry at his house, but it was nowhere to be found. She believes it was stolen.
I didn't get to the house until, I think it was 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. So that entire day went by. It was over 12 hours. Michael's house looked like it was ransacked when we got there. I said, who did this? And I asked security, I said, who did this? And he goes...
LaToya has also been accused of taking computer hard drives from her brother's home containing more than 100 unreleased Michael Jackson songs.
No, I did not take Michael's hard drive.
Who has these unreleased songs?
I don't know.
You took no personal possessions, you took no jewelry, you took no money?
No.
From the very beginning, LaToya has said that Michael Jackson was murdered.
It was murder. I think someone did it. That's my opinion.
but it wasn't until 2 weeks ago that the Los Angeles County coroner backed up her claim, ruling the death a homicide, although not necessarily premeditated murder. The LAPD is continuing to investigate Conrad Murray, as well as other doctors known to have prescribed narcotics to Jackson. Do you blame Dr. Murray?
Barbara, I blame any and everybody who was instrumental in Michael's life, providing him with drugs, because it was wrong.
Your brother was a wonderful and sweet person, you say, but he was a drug addict.
Barbara,
he had 8 brothers and sisters. Couldn't anybody help him? Couldn't anybody intervene? Couldn't anybody do anything?
We tried many, many times to intervene, and we were kept away. My father tried more than anybody else. He would go almost every week and try to intervene.
Michael was a grown man. Does he bear no responsibility? Your brother asked for these injections.
Barbara, I can ask you for $1 billion, but you'll say, no, Latoya, I'm not giving it to you. They're doctors. This is going against their license, Barbara. You don't do things like that.
Michael hired his doctors himself.
That's what we've been told. We don't know that to be sure, do we?
What's the alternative?
That someone else around Michael hired those doctors. And I've been told that over and over and over again.
Latoya would not provide details, saying she doesn't want to hinder the ongoing police investigation. If Jackson were still alive, he would be almost halfway through a highly anticipated 50-appearance concert tour, his first in 12 years.
These will be my final show performances in London. This will be it. This is it. And when I say this is it, it really means this is it.
Did Michael want to do 50 concerts?
Absolutely not.
Then why did he?
Michael wanted to do 10 shows, and these people came into his life. They came and said, no, you have to do more, you have to do this. They booked him without Michael even knowing. Michael couldn't do those many shows, Barbara. That's a 22-year-old probably couldn't do those many shows the way they have them scheduled back to back. It's impossible.
2 days before he died, as he rehearsed in Los Angeles, Jackson appeared strong. The tour organizers have said that Jackson had agreed in advance to the number of shows.
Hold for applause, slow umbrella fade out.
Latoya believes people will be shocked at the outcome of the homicide investigation.
Michael!
She was not only a devoted sister to Michael, but a loving aunt to Prince Michael, Paris, and Blanket. When we come back, how are Michael's children now, and what will happen to them in the future? Do the children know Diana Ross? And does she want to raise these children?